Okay, speaking about the tech scene, jeez, layoffs. Layoffs Central. Let me give you some top line numbers, yeah? And this is obviously not exhaustive. And don't slam me if these numbers are incorrect, okay? Like, this is... I didn't check ChatGPT because it's not,
Should have asked
it's not up to
ChatGPT.
date. It's not up to date, all right? Anyway, Google laid off 12,000 staff.
Oof.
Microsoft, 10,000. Amazon, around 18,000. Salesforce, 7,000. Meta, 11,000. Twitter, 3.7 thousand. Tesla, 6,000. News Corp, just recently in Australia, 12,000, 1,250.
What's going on?
And that's not exhaustive.
Yeah.
It's like there's
Across
heaps
the board.
more.
Yeah, across the board.
Tech.
Silicon Valley going down?
No. Well, look, there's no doubt the economy is slower. We're bracing for.
But we've got to see
slower
also,
growth.
I think we've got to see, I mean, these numbers, right?
Yeah.
You got to see what is the percentage of the, I guess, the employees of that company. I've heard anything from
they're
like,
decent. Like Google is a decent chunk. Microsoft, 18,000. They're good. Some of them are just under 10%.
ooh,
Look, we're bracing ourselves for slower growth. Sorry, being these companies, and it's an inflationary environment. Consumers are spending less. I mean, all of these companies that work in the sphere, they're not
spending as
not
much.
essential service company. I.e., like even in a recession, I got to drive around, so the fuel I need to fill in fuel, right?
Yeah.
I need to eat. Like that's going to happen. You don't see Coles and Woolies. These are, I wouldn't say like discretionary, but like, you know, these are companies that there's a combination of elements. Like some of them overhired during the pandemic. I think the easiest one to put it is Amazon. They've stated
Yes, that
to factor for the demand, and the demand is no longer there. But the other thing is like for a lot of these sort of tech companies, it's a heavy engineering. I mean, some of them are HR. Look, I think the numbers that I've just put here, just 100,000 jobs, like maybe just under, and it's not exhaustive. Where are these guys going to go? They're all in the tech space.
100,000 people.
There was a time, and this is around the whole world, by the way. There was a time, not too long, especially, you know, during the Australian, in the Australian economy, which is where we're talking about, that, you know, these tech jobs were going for a lot of money. Like there was a hiring problem, right? Like it kind of still is. It's a really odd one, but just by putting the numbers out there, there are a lot of highly skilled people without a job that are going to take not any job that they get, but there's going to be a lot of competition. There's going to be a lot of competition for jobs. And, you know, if the economy and the market for spending in conjunction with the interest rate rises, and in Australia we've had 7, God
ridiculous.
damn, like it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough out there, and we're feeling it. But I think, I mean, what are your thoughts on just the sheer numbers here?
Well, I've heard of the response from the companies, right? And
That's where I wanted to go.
and
Firing by email? I know you got to use the tech, but what? It's terrible.
Well, it is hard to do 100,000 face-to-face interviews in a short amount of time.
I didn't think about it like
But,
that,
yeah,
that's intense.
the response by the companies, and they said that they're hiring more people, which I don't believe. Like they're hiring more people than they've fired, right? Is what they're saying.
Some, not all, but yes, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. Where do they go? I mean, do they just stop?
The labor market is like any market, supply and demand. So, I mean, they go back into the queue looking for a job. And again, these are skilled jobs. I'm not saying other industries are not, but Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Salesforce, Meta. I mean, these are engineers. Engineers, 6 figures and plus. Like, these are not like...
a lot of these companies... I mean, we talked about how, like, I guess Microsoft and Google going all in on AI, right? Yeah. But we've seen Meta go all in on VR and AR.
And where is it now?
But they have scaled back a lot of their plans because of the environment, right?
Well, you need money to fund this research, right?
I don't know if you've heard of the Oculus Quest 2. It actually went up in price.
Inflation. It costs more to produce. I can believe that.
Yeah, I mean, that and also the PS5 I've heard also up in price as well.
Yeah.
Inflation is hitting these companies hard because less people are going to be buying. And you're right, it's going to create less demand. So
Yeah, I mean they got to play a bit of defense, and the easiest way to recoup some of the.
But that is a big. That's a massive.
Like I haven't
100,000 people.
said all the numbers yet.
Yeah.
I've picked top line, and that's not to discount smaller sort of companies. It's happening. It's happening across board.
And a lot of these people all live in Silicon Valley. I just wonder how it is over there. Maybe.
Well, it has a kickback on rental
leaving.
stuff.
I guess people leaving
People
Silicon Valley,
leaving there.
going back home.
It's some tough times.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's really tough times. Amidst this, check out have you heard this? So Zoom, you're familiar with Zoom, right?
Yeah.
The CEO, Eric Huan, my boy. So he had to lay off 1,300 employees.
Yeah.
And he did it the only way he knew.
Via
Sent
Zoom.
an email.
Oh, an email. So not even via Zoom. Oh, what the
I don't think the Zoom can handle 1,000. Can you imagine that Zoom made?
Can
Everyone
Zoom
will take. They can. I'm pretty sure.
Actually, I heard Zoom can handle like I think it was 100,000.
Zoom was anyway. So I had to let them go, and then he said, "You know what? We as the executives need to bear the brunt of it." So he reduced his pay packet by 98%. It's rumored like 10,000. His pay packet's going to go to 10,000 for the year.
$10,000 a year.
The CEO.
Wow.
Altruistic, I think not. Yeah, well, I don't know. And then
Well, he's already made a lot of money.
off the top of that, the share price surges by 10%. What is happening here? Seriously, some of these.
It's a good PR move, I gotta
That's
say.
what I was thinking. Like, I mean,
That's why it's gone up.
Conspiracy theorist in me just, what world are we living in? This is insane.
Maybe he did it to put the stock price up. He knew they was going to do that, I reckon. Maybe he did it like, he said, oh, if I cut my, salary down to $10,000.
That's
investors love that. Stakeholders love that.
And apparently the lead executives are also getting pay cuts, maybe not as exuberant as him, but
yeah.
It's interesting. Again, we live in just such interesting times.
You reckon that whole industry is heading for a big crash?
What industry?
The tech industry. Silicon Valley.
I think.
Or do you think they're just taking these hits right now?
Yeah.
So
in tech, there are a couple of elements that you need to consider. One is, let's take a company like Google. Very easy, right? The bread and butter of how they make money is search.
Yeah.
It's search, it's PPC, pay-per-click, all that, right?
Yeah.
The other stuff is distraction.
Yeah.
It really is. Search is the 80% of their 20% of their
the
portfolio.
ads also would be.
It is, but it's all underpinned by search, right?
Yeah.
So the other stuff are bets.
Yeah.
It costs money to make bets.
Yeah.
A lot of these bets don't go through at all. They make nothing.
Like Google Stadia.
Correct. Amazon is exactly the same thing. Amazon doesn't make amazing money on their... What are they known for? Amazon's known for their products, right?
Yeah.
They don't make a lot of money there because they undercut everyone. There's no money to be made. You know where Amazon makes money from? AWS.
Yes, the service. Yes,
the service.
That's right. Yeah,
so I guess what I'm saying is, if you think about that, 20% of your product portfolio funds 80% of your revenue generation in a market where that 20% is going to be pulled down just because the market is contracting anyway.
Yeah.
They need to cut jobs.
Yeah.
So it's not about, and that's why, have you heard about virtual reality and all that by Meta recently?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, well,
it's less, right? What I mean is it's less, right?
They've scaled back. 100%
Yeah,
they've
because
scaled back.
they're double downing on. They need to make the money.
They had all these plans for
Exactly.
like 6-7 devices.
Yeah.
They were pumping like billions of dollars, $40 billion, I think.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg was pumping into the metaverse, and then it feels like some of those plans have been scaled back now because
a lot of the plans have been scaled back, and it's not only Facebook, it's not only Meta, and the manifestation of what you're seeing is this stuff. It's to power ideology, innovation, in a direction that's very different to what the base companies have been doing.
We can bring this back to AI. Like they're making bets on that though still. Like $10 billion worth of bets on AI Microsoft is making.
Still got to spend money. You still got to spend money. I mean, 10 how much did Microsoft? 10,000 stuff. I don't know how much that cleared away in the balance sheet. But you still need to make bets. Yeah. This is a tough thing. Business is business. It's not charity. It's a tough thing to say. And you got to make, for companies, a recession and a boom, these are these are known concepts, right?
Yeah.
Like we're coming off a massive chunk of growth.
Yeah.
The whole world is coming off a massive chunk of growth. I mean, we haven't seen a recession since probably the great. I mean, we had one in 2001. Like we had levels of it, maybe
Yes.
not as big.
2003.
The fact that we can't even think about it just shows how prosperous things have been.
Yeah.
So what goes down will come up, vice versa, the same way. It doesn't mean you stop investing. It just means that where you had maybe 3 stabs at making bets, it needs to go to 2. Because there needs to be financial prudence, and that's how businesses that last. I mean, there's a whole other topic and debate about just Silicon Valley as a whole. A lot of these organizations are run off seed funding. I mean, it's rumored that Spotify still hasn't made money. Netflix, operating profit maybe consistently in second quarters. Like, how does this happen? A product that's so ingrained hasn't, and like, how's it still running? Like, it's with same thing for Netflix. They're not exactly making heaps of money, right?
Netflix last year,
streaming as a whole, like, you only
price,
need to lose 1 or 2%. And you know what people are realizing now that things are bloody, it's causing me $4 to buy a bloody avocado. I can't afford that. I can't afford that avocado. I thought we had heaps of avocados.
Oh, you're just like smashed avo in the mornings. That's all.
Yeah, buddy. It's the only thing I can eat. I can't, like, first world problems. These avocados are so damn expensive. I don't even know what I was talking about.
Expensive. It's expensive.
Things are just really expensive. And decisions need to be made. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.